So you're starting the carnivore diet, or perhaps you're already on the carnivore diet and you want to know how long it will take for you to achieve your goal weight. Now, look, we've all seen the incredible success stories on the carnivore diet, but some people, when they start the carnivore diet, actually have an opposite experience. They gain weight. Now, obviously, that would be incredibly annoying. If you started a new diet with the intention of losing lots of weight, that certainly would not be ideal. So in today's video, we're going to look at the expectations you should have when starting a carnivore diet in regards to weight loss. We're going to look at why weight loss occurs, the number one factor that affects weight loss, and what influences this factor. Then we will discuss how long it typically takes to lose weight on the carnivore diet, as well as the one type of person that actually might gain weight at the start of their carnivore journey. So why does weight loss, or put more precisely, fat loss, occur? Well, fat is stored energy. Whether it be a piece of fruit, some vegetables, some ultra-processed garbage, or a steak, it contains energy. And if we consume more energy than we burn, this energy is stored as fat. That's all body fat is, stored energy. Now we get rid of this fat by burning more energy than we consume. When this happens, our body needs to get the energy from somewhere. So it taps into its own body fat and therefore it burns fat and we reduce the total amount of fat that we have. The number one factor regarding weight loss is actually appetite. Most people think that the reason they're overweight is due to the fact that they have a slow metabolism. Well, as it turns out that the majority of people who are similar size actually have very similar metabolisms. And by metabolism, I mean the total amount of energy you're burning per day. But what really sets people apart is that some people just don't seem to get hungry, whereas others seem to be hungry all day. You often hear people say things like, well, I have this one friend who they eat whatever they want and they stay incredibly thin. I guarantee if you spent a week with that friend, you would notice that they don't actually eat that frequently. When they eat, they might eat a lot of food and it might be complete and utter garbage, but chances are they're only eating 2, maybe 3 meals a day. Now on the carnivore diet, we eat until we're satiated, meaning that we're full and no longer hungry. So in order to lose as much weight as possible, we want to eat foods that are more satiating. To make this really simple, I want you to think about this. If you eat 2 foods, let's say one is cheese and another one is a steak, and you eat them until you're completely full, you're going to require a lot more energy from the cheese than you would from the steak to feel full. So in both instances, you're completely full, but in this instance with the cheese, you've actually consumed a lot more calories, and therefore you're going to be burning less fat. And if you've eaten over the total amount you've burned for the day, this will be stored as fat. This is one of the reasons why dairy is problematic for some individuals on the carnivore diet. For one, we can think about it logically. Dairy is designed for growth. Every species that consumes dairy is designed for their own infants, which are trying to grow. However, we've stopped growing up, so we can only grow white, as well as the fact that if you're consuming dairy that contains carbohydrates, it's going to mess with your blood sugar. It's going to cause blood sugar spikes, and therefore you have crashes where you go below your baseline and you feel incredibly hungry. Also, with this blood sugar spike, another hormone known as insulin increases to bring your blood sugar back down. But the problem is that as soon as your insulin levels rise, it blocks another hormone called leptin, which is what signals to your brain, hey, we're satiated, we no longer need to eat. And it's also incredibly addictive. We've all experienced this. As we add more dairy into our diet, we seem to want it more. And one of the reasons for this is due to a compound in it known as beta-casomorphin, which is essentially an opioid-like substance, which to some people can be incredibly triggering and make them want it more and more. Now, another big factor is the type of meat you're consuming. You will continue to stay hungry till your body has consumed adequate amounts of every nutrient that it requires. This is what annoys me so much about those fitness influencers who make those little 0-calorie big jelly bowls. Sure, for 20 minutes or so, when your stomach's incredibly full, you're not going to be hungry. But as soon as your brain realizes, hey, there's no nutrients in here and there's no energy, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get hungry again. So another way to feel full for as little energy as possible is to eat the meats that are the most nutrient dense. The best being ruminant meat. It simply cannot be beaten. If you get ruminant meat such as beef or lamb, that right there is the best possible meat. But obviously, depending on where you live, this may not be possible, and as long as you do the other things I've talked about in this video, you'll be fine. And the third factor, which I do need to put in here, I'm sorry, is your level of adherence to the diet. A lot of people claim to be carnivore. However, at least once a week, they go off the diet. Remember all those things I talked about with dairy earlier? Well, when you eat foods from the standard American diet, say a bag of chips, a bag of lollies, your cheat meal or whatever you call it in the weekend, all the effects from dairy are supercharged. These foods are designed to be addictive, to make it so that when you eat them, you don't feel full. even remotely. So, guess what happens? You're hungry, you eat more, and then next time you go to the supermarket, because you've run out, you buy some more. It's incredibly profitable for them, but it leads to your physique not looking as good as it could, to put it nicely. As well as the fact that it also causes inflammation. We've all experienced it. When you've been on the carnivore diet for a prolonged period of time without slipping off once, you have ridiculous amounts of energy. Even when I'm talking, my hands are moving, I just feel great. And then you compare that to the standard American diet. I mean, at least for me, I could barely get out of bed in the mornings. I was so incredibly tired. Come the afternoon, all I want to do is nap. Now, any spare moment I get, I want to train. I catch myself pacing whilst I'm doing normal things. And by doing this, you actually burn a lot of energy. This is what is known as non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And in some studies, they find that person to person, this can increase by as much as 2,000 calories. So essentially what's happening when we eat this processed food is that all of our cells are becoming damaged, and therefore they're less effective at producing energy. We have less energy, so we burn less energy, and then when we're burning less energy, we're burning less fat, which is certainly not ideal. So, the moment you've all been waiting for, and the reason I didn't put this at the start of the video is because if we don't talk about the fundamental principles that affect weight loss, it's not really going to be useful for you, is it? For me, it was incredibly quickly. I lost 30 pounds pretty much instantly. I went from being overweight to lean very quickly. I dropped 30 pounds, and I can't remember the exact timeline, but it was between 1 and 2 months. It seriously depends person to person. I've had clients who have dropped 8 pounds in the first week, and I think if you are staying completely strict on carnivore, especially if you're a larger individual, a good goal for your weight loss is 2 to 4 pounds per week. However, do keep in mind, if you're a smaller individual, say you're a woman who's shorter, losing 2 to 4 pounds is a lot of weight. So like I said, it's definitely person to person dependent. But what I see with the people I work with is that 2 to 4 pounds is a very reasonable goal, especially if you're staying on track and not slipping off. Now, one thing that is incredibly interesting to note is that some people at the start of their carnivore journey do actually gain weight, even if they have the strictest possible carnivore diet. And the reason for this is that they're completely nutrient deficient. This is much more prevalent in people that were, say, vegetarian or vegan before starting the carnivore diet. Obviously, in plants, there are many nutrients that we cannot get. And so because they haven't eaten meat for an extended period of time, they're incredibly deficient in many nutrients. So they go on carnivore and their body gets exposed to the sweet taste of meat and all the nutrients that it possesses. And to put it incredibly scientifically, our bodies go, this is good, please give us more of it. And essentially, you just get ridiculously hungry. You end up eating an absurd amount of meat until your nutrient levels are where your body wants it to be. The other day, I interviewed a lady named Bella, who many of you will know as Steak and Butter Gal, and she shared her story about when she started carnivore and how she gained 20 pounds relatively quickly because her appetite was so ravenous that she was eating 5 pounds of meat per day, plus some butter, plus some eggs. And that was because, well, she was a vegan for 6 years prior to starting. Anyways, thanks for watching. I made a video which breaks down the 31 reasons we know that humans are meant to be on the carnivore diet. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.